Whoa! We're live! Welcome,
Hello.
my people! Welcome to my studio. It's actually mine now. I'm on the lease, so I guess it is partially actually. It is. Yeah. Are you excited? She got really excited when she heard me being loud. So studio updates. You want to tell them what all has changed in the studio since the last video?
I feel like it became more of a mess.
Yeah,
like the whole house.
It's got a bunch of stuff that's been added to it. Mostly stuff that's still in boxes or bags. So yeah, a lot of packages and a mattress. So yeah, nothing super exciting. Although we do have these. They're the signs from our wedding, and they're super cute. And I'm gonna make them super cuter for decorations in the future. And that is a future activity or plan or craft to do on here. So I think it's probably next. It's probably the next one. Yeah, probably. Otherwise, if I put it off too long, it won't happen. The longer I put it off, the longer it takes. Life updates is that we're married and we're back. This is week
2, 3. So we're back and then we're married.
2. Yeah, so this is week 3 of marriage. How are you feeling? Are you
feeling pretty good?
Still happy about it? Hey, welcome, Carolee. I'm so glad you're here. You're always here. I love it. Thank you so much. Welcome. We were just saying that we are now 3 weeks into marriage, and we're still 5 stars from me. 5 stars?
Yeah.
This is a fun update. You're getting a lot of dog hair on the side of your nice black clothes. I am so sorry. I mean, I'm not the one putting it there.
I don't know why I own black clothes when I have a white dog. Here I stand.
Here I stand. I cannot stand otherwise. Patreon. We still have 2 patrons, so that's exciting. And I guess we'll get right into it. Getting right back into the story. Do you remember exactly where we left off in the story?
We were walking into the house for the reception.
We were walking into the house for the reception. That's true. Yeah. Do you want me to start? Or do you want to start? I guess the story connects to me a little bit more at the beginning. So we walk in, and the night before, I had a list of things to try and get done before the actual wedding. I got most of them done, but there was one thing I did not get done that was on that list, which was what you doing? Is she eating something? You look like you got in trouble.
No, it just looks gross.
What is it? Oh.
No.
I think she brought that up. I think she
I don't know. That's pretty square to have come out of her.
Oh, it looks like a leaf to me.
Oh.
Look like a chunk of leaf. Who knows? Dog stuff,
Anyways.
Dog life. Yeah, so I had forgotten to set up the foot washing, which was like the thing we were gonna do right when we came in, was do a foot washing like like what people do at Adventist communions. And so, but instead of that, or I shouldn't say instead of, but I didn't remember it until I was walking up the mountain at 10 o'clock. And so I like called some of my guys, but my phone was going dead and it died before I actually really told them what was going on or what I needed them to do. And so, yeah, we got there and the foot washing wasn't ready for us, which was not a big deal. But it was totally my fault. But yeah, so we came in and we basically were like, hey, we're gonna do a foot washing. Can you get some stuff for us? They went and got it, made it happen, which was pretty cool. How did you feel about the foot washing?
Yeah, it was I liked it. It was a nice pause before
The storm.
going into the reception. Like it was a break between ceremony, reception, everything that's happening. Just a moment to pause and pray together and
focus on each other.
Yeah, and focus on the servant attitude of going into marriage, of serving each other, and so.
All that jazz. Yeah. I thought it was really cool. Would recommend. I guess that's my main takeaway. Is I thought that was a cool thing we did, and
it warmed up our feet really well because it was real cold.
Oh, that's true.
So the warm water felt great.
Yeah. So yeah.
I think my hands were more cold, so washing your feet was nice.
Yeah.
Because then my hands are warm.
Yeah. And then everybody gets called in. We had everybody dancing on the way in or doing something on the way in. And then we came in dancing, and the rest is history.
The rest is a blur.
Yeah, the rest is on the live stream.
Well,
sort of. I mean, a lot of basically all the action.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything the live stream really missed.
Bouquet toss.
Oh yeah, just the bouquet toss and the whatever it's called, garter toss. So yeah, the live stream. We've watched it now, and I thought it was entertaining. Some of it, it's like any live stream where you're kind of waiting for something interesting to happen some of the time. But I was glad that it didn't run out of battery, because that's what happened. Is the battery ran out. I'm glad the battery didn't run out until after our first dance and the parent dances or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it was actually a great time for it to cut out, because it was everybody comes onto the floor of the dancing. It feels like the end of you're not gonna get this reference, but it feels like the end of Star Wars on with all the little animals dancing and everybody's dancing, everybody's happy, and then it cuts out. So it was a great happily ever after moment, the way it played out. So yeah. For the most part, we didn't have any hiccups or bumps in the reception either. I mean, it was pretty smooth sailing, right?
Yeah, I think it was fine. We stayed half an hour later than we planned to, just because it was going by so fast, and if we had left when we had originally planned, there would have been no open dance floor.
Yeah. The dancing would have been super short.
Yeah, so we stayed half an hour later than we planned, but it worked out fine. And yeah, it's
really one thing to the next. Hey, Corinne, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Oh man, we're getting the whole team back together. That's how I feel. I feel like the Avengers reassembling. That's what this feels like. But yeah, so then it really feels like one thing after another during that reception. It's just constantly, and you sit down to eat something, you get 2 bites, and then you're on to the next thing. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
People don't lie when they say you don't get your own wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I'm a fast enough eater. I totally thought I would be able to do it. But I was totally wrong. Yeah. We only got 1 bite of our wedding cake, even though it was really good when we tasted it.
Mm-hmm. Mom, can I have another wedding cake?
Yeah. Do you still have the recipe? Yeah, she does, but that's funny. Yeah.
Because even then we took some with us, and we ate a little bit that night, but then we
had
didn't
so
eat
many
it the next
sweets
day.
Because we also had the marshmallows.
Yeah, we had the s'mores, which are our favors, and our hosts had cookies for us.
And cookies when we got there.
And so then when we left, we forgot our cake in the fridge.
Oh.
So I hope our hosts enjoyed
it. What?
I said, so I hope our hosts enjoyed it.
Yeah. Wait, was it the whole cake? How much of the cake?
No, it was just slices of cake.
Oh my goodness. Almost broke my heart.
It was a small cake. Most of our wedding party ate most of it.
Yeah. It was this big.
Yeah.
You guys got to see us cutting it. I remember that now. So my shirt was so frumpy. That was it. Sorry. Did you have a thought you wanted to say? Oh, okay. That was like when we rewatched the live stream back and like looking at the photos. That's like the biggest standout thing that is just like in every photo.
Should have gone with his old kind of staining shirts because they at least fit well.
Yeah, they're not perfect, but I mean, in a photo, you wouldn't be able to see any of the stains on them.
Although I was thinking back on it, and I was like, I wonder if his shirt got so frumpy because of the beginning of the first look when you ran to me and you're like flailing your arms everywhere.
Yeah,
so it's like coming untucked.
Maybe, except that I retucked in my suspenders multiple times, so like I used the restroom multiple times since then. By the time we got to that point, each time I use the restroom, everything gets retucked in perfectly, or as perfect as I can. Your mom sent a picture of you two on the cliff. It was breathtaking. Well, I hate to be the one to break it to you, and this is bad news for those of you who weren't there, but the whole view was definitely breathtaking. Yeah. So it was. We were very blessed to be able to take pictures and have a wedding in such a beautiful place. So, thank you, Garrett's. We owe you more than we can afford to pay you. We'll just have to stay friends with you and try to make it up to you. That's funny, but yeah.
And we left the reception and went and took more pictures because we wanted. There's a bridge, which you'll see in the pictures.
We actually probably have because it's the.
That's true.
It's the
background photo.
It's the background photo for the YouTube channel, so you've probably seen it.
Oh, I just met on your Facebook. So yeah, we went and took a few pictures down there. That's down near the actual town of Lucille. So there was definitely not enough time to go down there and take pictures. Some during like the first look time and stuff, and get back up and everything. So we asked our photographer if she could just leave with us and get pictures on the way out.
Yeah.
Which she was very gracious and did that. And then we got some chai and hot chocolate from this cute little tiny little coffee shop in Lucille.
The new little coffee thing in Lucille. Yeah. We didn't get any during the whole getting ready. And we were like, oh, we got to get some at some point since it's this new little thing.
They had some good chai, I will say that. Yeah. I very much enjoyed it. And we drove to our little Airbnb in New Meadows, Idaho.
New Meadows. Which turned out to be a great Airbnb.
Yeah, and which did have lots of snow.
Yeah. So the wedding, didn't have as much snow as we'd hoped, but the Airbnb had plenty, plenty. Yeah. So yeah, we got our winter wonderland after all. Have to go for a walk. Yeah, because basically what we were doing is we had an Airbnb in Idaho so we could relax for a day before having to travel to get to Hawaii and all of that rigmarole. And so, yeah, that's what we did. We spent Sabbath relaxing in Idaho. Have you heard anything about how the cleanup of the wedding and reception went afterwards?
Cleanup? No.
I heard it went well.
No. Yeah.
He's trying to hurt people.
So yeah, Sabbath was just a chill day. We watched a terrible movie.
Oh yeah, yeah we did. I'm glad I don't remember the name of it. Although that means I can't warn you. I guess
it was not the like tagline was like in the spirit of Braveheart or something like that. I'm like, okay, probably good. Yeah. No, not at all.
Yeah. Well, and
it's a terrible plotline.
Yeah. Well, everything about it was terrible. But one of the things I had said about the wedding was like our wedding looked like the set piece or a set piece from Braveheart. Like it looked like a place that could be in Braveheart. That would have been really good. And because we had like the fog and the clouds rolling over that hilltop, and we're up on that rocky hilltop. It was all moist and wet from the clouds, and so to me, I was like, oh man, this feels like we're in a movie, and the movie that it feels like is Braveheart, which is a super romantic movie. But it turns out a bit too violent.
Yeah, he said it's a romance movie. The
I don't
romance
think-
is like part.
I don't.
Like this much of it.
I don't think that's what I said, but it. I mean, everything that is done in the entire movie is done for the sake of romance. It is done out of the impulse of romance and the motivation of romance. But I definitely forgot how much of a war movie it was. Like, I definitely, in my memory, have romanticized that movie back. Now, to be fair, I think a lot of that movie still holds weight. Like, still is enjoyable for me. But it turns out, not so much for her.
Because we did end up watching Braveheart
Yeah.
after watching this movie that was in the spirit of Braveheart.
Yeah, I had said I had made a comment multiple times at that point that like I feel like we got married on the set of Braveheart, and then Erica sees this movie like in the thing, and she's like, "Oh, it says it's in the spirit of Braveheart. This will work great." And I was like, "Yeah, the spirit of Braveheart sounds awesome," but it turned out not awesome at all. It was a love story. It wasn't about love. It was really dry and weird to watch. So, but yeah.
Yep, but our Airbnb was delightful.
Oh,
so
it was so nice. It was so nice.
And
I took pictures of things because I was like, if we ever own an Airbnb, which I would love to, this guy would love to host Airbnbs, or a bed and breakfast or something. I was like, I'm keeping all of these ideas. These ideas are so cute. I was like taking pictures of everything in the Airbnb. It was such a nice, cute little Airbnb. Very homey. Very homey. It was the hayloft ladder, or the hayloft of a barn. So that had been converted into a little like apartment. It was very cute. Very, very cute.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we spent a day there, and then Sunday we got up early and drove down to Boise.
Mm-hmm.
Got rid of our rental car.
Mm-hmm.
My dad picked us up. We went to the airport
Mm-hmm.
and started our flight to Hawaii. So Sunday was basically just flying all day.
Most of the day, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and well, we had one flight that we had to run.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to run with two of the.
Our flights were delayed, and our flight, like we were landing 20 minutes before our other flight was taking off. Not 20 minutes before boarding, 20 minutes before leaving.
Yeah.
So we were booking it through the airport, which then on that flight we made it. We got on, but we're still in masks. It's still, you have to wear masks in the airport. So we're running through the airport in these masks, and we got on the plane, and I was just dying. I was like, these people are going to think I have COVID because
she was like huffing and puffing.
Coughing so bad.
She was planning on blowing down the piggy's house, for sure. That's what she was up to. I mean, yeah, you were coughing for like...
It was like half an hour.
I was about to say an hour, but yeah, like well into the flight had already begun. and she was still coughing.
It was rough times.
Yeah.
But, I survived.
Yeah.
We made it.
And then, but then our next flight was the exact opposite, wasn't it? It was like super chill. We had a really long layover, like an hour and a half, which was nice. To be honest, I mean, it's not like it was long enough. It was bad.
Yeah. Also, just note for travelers tip. Apparently, flying over oceans and 6-hour flights these days does not mean meals anymore.
Oh yeah.
Like, I thought that was a thing. No. Not at all.
No meal. No. So we were very hungry when we landed, and we landed in the middle of the night. What was it like?
And it wasn't that late. It was like
7 or 8.
7 or something.
Yeah.
But they didn't have like hardly any restaurants in the airport.
Nothing was open.
We got Starbucks.
Is that what we got?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
I mean, they have sandwiches now.
They do.
So,
they do. Yeah.
Got a breakfast sandwich at 8 o'clock at night. Which I'm not complaining about, actually. I'll eat breakfast any time of day.
Protein is protein. Eggs are eggs any time of day. Yeah, so, and then we got it into actual Honolulu from our last flight at I think around 10, and got a Uber across town and got into the Waikiki Monarch.
Yep, to our Hawaii Airbnb.
Yep, which was a really nice Airbnb. Yeah,
we got a corner room, so we had windows like. I don't know why you can't like this.
Like this, yeah. I guess it was like this because it had a little flat edge. Yeah. But yeah, you get the idea. The point is, we had a really nice view.
We did. Of the mountains.
Of the mountains, yeah. And the sunrise.
So we were like not that far of a walk to the beach, but we got to see the mountains.
And instead of using an alarm clock, we just let the sun wake us up.
Yeah, at like 6 every morning.
Well, and so we just went to bed earlier.
No, it was nice. It was great. Can the sun do that here in Texas? That would be great.
What? Can it do what?
Like come up at 6 a.m. Real bright.
I mean, if we get a window facing east, which currently no part of your house faces east, their part of the duplex faces east.
I was like, that's not possible. One part of my 4-walled house has to face east.
No. The side that faces east is attached to someone else's house. Yeah. It has no windows. You're right. That's the main point.
Yeah. Because it still faces east, babe.
Yeah, it just doesn't have any windows. And honestly, I'm not sure I would want windows over there anyway. I think windows into Eddie's apartment would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
On multiple fronts. Yeah. So. Yeah, and then next day.
Monday. We walked around.
Monday. Yeah.
We kind of took the day chill. Went and got a few groceries because we're gonna do some cooking.
Which it turns out was like 7-Eleven.
Yeah, and 7-Eleven's not always a gas station there. It was mostly convenience stores. A few of them had gas stations.
Yeah, and they weren't necessarily big convenience stores, but they were like the small kind that you expect within walking distance when you're in a town, a city. It's
like a 7-Eleven. Just without the gas part, because it's as much as they have in a normal 7-Eleven. But yeah, 7-Eleven and ABC were like the two main places we went to find groceries. None of them super extensive, so you meant there wasn't much vegetarian other than we're eating fruit and we're eating pasta and
I don't remember
what else.
Plenty of options. I don't know.
It was we got a lot of eggs. We just because we cooked a lot of breakfast, so they have eggs. That's an easy thing.
So we made our own breakfasts. That's the thing that's different. And then we had some sandwich stuff for lunches, and then. Well, did we actually do that very often?
No, because we didn't have anything to put in the sandwiches until later.
Oh. That's
or funny. We just made like egg sandwiches, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So got groceries and then walked down to Waikiki Beach. And did the typical? You had to have at least one day where you do the typical. Let's lay on the beach and get in the water.
Yeah. And on Waikiki, no less. I mean, that's a famous Hawaii beach. Everyone knows that beach.
I did not know that beach before I went.
I thought everybody knew that beach.
We've had family who's been there. I did not.
That's true. I used to have some family that lived there. Yeah. But also, it's in movies and stuff. I feel like that's where I hear it. It's in a lot of songs.
How much I remember about
it's in a lot of songs. That's true. She doesn't know can't hear the lyrics to songs. Oh yeah, it was super beautiful. We were so blessed.
Yeah.
So and then and we got a little bit sunburnt that day. That was the main day that we got sunburnt, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The day when we got the most sunburnt. And all we did was just walk for a little while.
We got sunburnt during.
You got busted for jaywalking in Waikiki Beach. What?
That's funny.
When?
My sister got busted for jaywalking once at the university. Although she didn't actually, they just gave her a warning. They didn't give her a ticket. But yeah.
But still, that's crazy.
How bored do you have to be to actually ticket someone or pull them over for jaywalking?
how bad at being a cop do you have to be to like give someone a jaywalking ticket? You just have to be like terrible at what you do. I feel like that's funny.
We didn't actually get sunburnt on the beach. We got sunburnt
on the walk
while
back
we were
from the
walking
beach.
back from the beach because my tan line was I had this like scarf thing that I tied around me, and my tan line was here, not my swimsuit line. Or tan, my burn line.
The police officer escorted you to the next crosswalk. That is so overkill. That is the most comically unnecessary, ridiculous, useless thing I've ever heard.
That's hilarious.
So
in case you couldn't tell, this is the crosswalk. Come on.
Yeah, like in case the reason you broke this unnecessary law was because you didn't know better.
Yeah.
No, officer, I knew better, and so I did better. That's so funny. In a group of about 10 people. Wait, did people get charged? Like, did like the whole, like, did a portion of you get ticketed? Like, did any of you get ticketed? Did all of you get ticketed? Oh! She says he singled her out. Dang. That's so crazy.
The other 9 got to walk through.
The other 9 got to walk through free. That's so nuts. Like, how ridiculous is that? That is just over the top.
Were you the only tourist in the group?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you had like a Illinois plate. I don't remember which state. But Illinois plate on your back so they could tell. No, man, that is just crazy. But no, luckily, that is not what happened to us.
No.
Yeah, no. We didn't use crosswalks, and we also sometimes did use crosswalks.
Oh my god, I feel like we use crosswalks basically.
No, we didn't use crosswalks around the North Shore. There were no crosswalks.
Okay. Well, then they can't ticket me for not using the crosswalk.
You got a pamphlet about walking safely in English and Japanese. Oh man!
You still have that pamphlet,
brutal.
right? In
I
case
hope
you go back and you need to know.
Did you frame that pamphlet? I would have framed the heck out of that pamphlet. I would have framed that so fast.
That's like the thing at what was it, Glacier or Yellowstone, that said, "Trees are dangerous. Don't walk next to trees." Yeah. And we're like, these idiots. What are they talking about? Trees are fine. And then we're walking along.
It said on like the poster, "You never know when one might fall, and you hate to be under it."
Yep. And then we were walking along, and pop, and a tree falls right behind us. I mean, it's like a tiny little tree, but still,
tiny tree, yeah. But also, like, it was probably that far behind us. I mean, we felt the wind and the leaves as they brushed by.
I think I was ahead of you, and it was between us. Because I think you were back looking at something.
I think it was,
and I was ahead trying to figure out what the people were looking at. Mm-hmm. And,
yeah, it felt like right between us. Yeah.
All right, but back to
Josh saw it. Josh was behind us in the car driving by, and he saw it. It was just, oh man, just how on God's green would that happen? Yeah. Anyway, dangerous trees. You gotta watch out for tiny, dangerous jumping trees. Always keep your eyes peeled for those jumping trees. You never know when they're gonna bite you.
Yeah.
Also, back to the honeymoon.
Yeah. Back to Hawaii.
Back to Hawaii.
All right, Tuesday.
Like as if Hawaii wasn't interesting enough.
Tuesday, babe. What did we do first?
Ooh. Tuesday was probably my favorite. Well, I don't know if it was my favorite day, but it was definitely. It was probably my favorite day in a lot of ways, at least. We went surfing.
Babe, that's not what we did first.
What?
You just gotta tell them.
We did something before surfing?
Give any build up.
Apparently not. I'm sorry.
I thought it was the most like. We went surfing. Wow. Okay. A little excitement, please. First, we rented a car.
Oh, the biggest adventure of the whole trip. Not an enjoyable adventure, but an adventure nonetheless. I was gonna skip over that because it sucked. Subconsciously.
The whole experience.
Yeah. So we rented a car, and we decided to rent their least expensive car, which saved us some money, which was awesome. But also was a smart car, which is a dumb move because
tin can on wheels. On wheels.
It's generous. It's generous to call it that. Yeah. Yep. It was bad. It had one perk. It did have more legroom than I thought it would.
Because you're sitting in the trunk.
But I would rather give up that legroom in order to feel safe on the highway.
It has no shocks. You hit a pothole that's like, a normal pothole, and it's just like when you're in a normal car. In this car, it's like
it feels like it's gonna fall apart every time you go over like a crack in the road. Like the tiny little cracks in the road.
Every time I hit a pothole, I was terrified. I had to ruin the entire car.
Yeah, it was constant. Like small, like little pebbles. Like what would fall off of the side of the road onto the street. Everywhere you go, and you get on the highway, and as you're getting faster, you feel like you're just gonna roll off the highway. I mean, it feels just insanely dangerous to drive on the highway anymore. It was so bad.
The highway speed limits are like 55.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine if their speed limits were higher? If they had 80-mile-an-hour speed limits like I would like, it would have been. We would have definitely died. Yeah. You can't possibly drive fast enough in a smart car to commute to work.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
But we got the car because we did want to see not just the city.
The wheels are like this big. They're like the size. They're like slightly bigger than my head. The wheels are so small. I'm sorry, but the geometry of that doesn't make sense to anybody. You can't do that to a bicycle. If you did that to a bicycle, people would just never ride bikes again. We'd go back to horses. Anyway, my point is.
BMX.
Sorry, I'll let you go. BMX tires are still bigger than that. Anyway.
And
sorry.
We booked surf lessons on the North Shore, which is the opposite side of the island. And when you're driving there, what did it look like?
So as you drive toward the North Shore, you drive up through the middle of Oahu, and you're kind of between two mountainish areas. It's not like just one mountain and one mountain. It's like a group of mountains on either side. And you're driving between those, and there's these nice fields, some farms, some trees mixed in. It's just a nice area. It's beautiful, and you have the mountains and the rain coming on over. Anyway, and as we crested over a hill, you can now see down in elevation down to where the shore is. I don't know, maybe half a mile or 2 miles out, something like that. So we're still a ways from it, but even at that distance, you can see, fully see the waves coming, and the waves look huge.
Look nothing like the other side of the island. I don't know how one side of the island looks so different. Because on Waikiki side, that's just gentle rolling.
Yeah,
it's a nice peaceful beach. Yep. And then we're coming over. We're looking down. I'm like, Nick, we're gonna die. This is
yeah.
That's a lot of waves, and they're big. There's a lot of white in those waves.
Yeah, and they look tall. They look so tall.
Yeah,
we were like, oh my goodness. I hope we're not gonna. And so now we're coming down into the valley where the town is, and you drive through the little town and get to the shore. And when we get to the shore, it looked a lot more manageable. Praise God. But from that distance.
Yeah. And thankfully where we were, our coach, Toby, was telling us that where they take us to surf, and where a lot of people love to surf on the North Shore who are starting out and just practicing, is in this kind of little cove area.
The bay.
A little bay. Where the waves are still they're good. It's not like Waikiki where they're just rolling little things. You can get some good ones. You get medium ones. but you're not out just off next to the bay where they're pretty big. But I mean, when we were there was nothing huge off to the side. It was something bigger than we probably wanted to surf. But that apparently in, I think he said the winter, right?
Yeah.
It's the area where they get the 100-foot waves that they're doing surfing competitions with.
And he showed after it was. He's smart that it was after, but after our lessons, he showed us a YouTube video of him and his business partner using jet skis to hit these 100-foot waves, these huge waves. So that was cool just to think about after the fact.
Yeah.
Leading up to the fact, it was a bit more nervous. I was a bit more nervous than that because when we were driving up. Oh no, not like once we were there.
No.
Like once we were there, there's sea turtles on the beach. There's a sea turtle swimming. I know, and there's a sea turtle swimming in the waves as we push out. I mean, it was delightful.
Yeah.
And our teacher Toby was awesome, like really awesome.
Yeah. We did a summer private lesson, so it was just us two and Toby. I mean, there's other people in the water doing their own thing, but yeah, he taught us. He showed us like step. These are the 3 steps you do. If you do this, like you're gonna be getting up.
If you do this at the right time, you're gonna get up.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And took us out, and like we got up very quickly.
Yeah.
He'd take one of us out. He'd watch the waves, look for a good one, and then tell us to start paddling. And we'd start paddling, and then you can feel the wave kind of start to take you, and you go through the steps, and it was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. It was way more fun than I thought it would be.
We spent 2.5 hours out there.
Oh, really? Only 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Well, I thought we spent like 1,000 hours out there. It was awesome.
Only 2.5, and it was so sad because it's like you get so tired, and it's not even from.
He told us that we would go until we got too tired.
Yeah.
So he was right.
And it's not even from like the surfing part per se. It's a lot more of the paddling and stuff. And even though he's like paddling out for us half the time, we'd do our run and then we'd go over to the side and kind of chill for a minute, and then that's where he, after doing the other one, would come pick us up. And we'd paddle out to meet each other, and then he'd be like, "Okay, you can stop paddling," and he'd put his foot on our board and like paddle for the both of us, and he's fine. Like, and we're like, "My arms are tired."
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. It was really fun, and like I don't know what my deal was, but I kind of thought in my head, I was like, maybe we could just teach ourselves, like. But I am so glad that's not what we did. I'm so glad we spent the extra money. Because there was a couple that got there about the same time as us that were teaching themselves, and when we left, I talked to the guy, and he was talking about how he was exhausted. He looked very exhausted. He looked very spent. He looked like a beached whale. That's mean. I didn't mean it that way. I just meant. He looked like he could barely keep himself on the board because that took too much energy. And so he was very spent, very, very tired. And he said he hadn't gotten up a single time. So, and they had rented their own boards. So they still ended up paying a chunk of money to rent those boards. And yet got nothing out of it. And I suspect if I had that kind of day and I looked that bad and was that beat by the ocean, I don't think I'd go back out and try and surf again. I don't think I would. Whereas us, we were beat, but we got beat and also got to like ride the ocean. We got to ride the waves. So like so I was like, yeah, I'm tired. But I'm tired because I did one of the coolest things I've ever done. It was like, because this is something I've said a couple times since we've been back, and I'll tell you not to. How you've seen surfing. I've seen surfing like on TV or in movies or whatever. I have friends that have surfed, and it looks pretty cool. I've seen like the championships, and they're like really good at it. It looks really cool. I've seen people that didn't know what they were doing much do it, and it still looked pretty cool. It turns out it is a lot cooler than it looks. It looks awesome. It's much cooler than that. It's like if you put a harness on the ocean and got to ride it. Like, if you've ever seen, like, in movies where somebody gets to ride a dragon, I think it's much more similar to the experience of riding a dragon than it is anything else. That's, like, I think the greatest metaphor for it. Because, like, the thing you're riding is not like you. It's not comparable size. It's like you're riding a force of nature. There's like it's so cool. It's so cool. Somebody compared it to skiing, and in my head, I didn't say this out loud, but somebody compared it to skiing, and in my head, I was like, no, I don't think I could ever get addicted to skiing the way I could get addicted to surfing. Like, I think people that don't get addicted to surfing probably have a geographical ability. Like, it's just because they don't live there. Like, if I lived there, that would be how I spent every evening.
Yeah, it would be pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Corinne, no, we did not get any photos or video because we were in the water at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole 2.5 hours, the two of us and the instructor are all in the water. Because it's hard to get in and out with your board too. Like,
yeah,
it's not,
especially
it's
in our
not a
case because they
super
were so
easy
big.
thing to, like, oh, I'm just gonna hop out and get some pictures of you while you do it. Because I mean, like, the waves are coming in and they're going to the shore, and like, you're gonna, if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna mess up your board or mess up yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, our instructor helped us get them out there and then get them back in. So no photos or video, but we have photos of where we did it.
Yeah,
where we surfed.
Yeah, we have a few photos from the place. You can see. Yeah, and we did get a hat from the town nearby, and I wrote on it, "Toby taught me," because Toby taught me. That's why I got the hat. So.
All right, so that was Tuesday.
We're through Tuesday.
Wednesday, we went.
That was
We decided we wanted to drive all the way around to Waukee. We were like, we surfed all day yesterday.
We're road trip connoisseurs. Let's do this.
So yeah, we wanted to see the whole island and set out to do that. And right in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
What happened, babe?
Well, we had a 3-day rental for the vehicle, and so we headed out on this. This is only our second day, and we found this spot where we got out for a scenic look, and we are taking some pictures. It looks kind of nice. It's not the greatest view ever, but it's a cute spot. And then we see like this stair, what looks like a trail going straight up the side of this mountain stairs across the valley.
No, no stairs then. At first I was like, is that a road? Like, because when we were just looking. I can see the stairs. I have glasses.
Anyway, what were you gonna say though?
Well, yeah, no, it's just like looking at it, you're like, is that a road? What is that? Because trails don't just go straight up the side of a mountain. You usually, have switchbacks and stuff. This thing is straight up.
Just a straight line.
And then, we did see like people moving on it. So like, okay, it's a hike.
So we're like, hey, let's hike to the top of that mountain over there. How's that sound, babe?
Sounds fun, right?
Yeah, we like hiking to the top of mountains. Question mark.
So we did.
But it was so much worse than we thought.
My stars. Okay, so we go over there, we park. This place is called
Coco
Crater.
Coco Crater. Koko. Crater.
Yeah. And it used to be a
thing. Did we ever find out what it was?
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. They have them in like Tennessee at like Ruby Falls and stuff. I don't know. They have them in other places too. But it's like this. It's a one railroad
like
car
the
type
tram.
thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
goes up the
Mhm.
side of the mountain, and you see
Like
the
in
view, and
Pittsburgh
you
is
come
right.
back down in the railroad car. So it's an old railroad line essentially.
Yeah.
You have your 2 railroad metal bar things, and then you have a bunch of railroad ties. And so it is just a bunch of steps straight up the mountain made of railroad
And
ties.
the steps are just the railroad ties. It's not like they're like, oh yeah, we flattened the railroad ties for you. It's like, no, they're still like this.
Yeah, railroad ties are at odd angles, decaying.
Yeah.
You still have the metal's still fine, the 2 tracks, because it's metal, but you can't walk on that. At least, I guess you could. I wouldn't suggest it though. And we started hiking up it, and it was probably about halfway through that I came to this realization that I was like, okay, like going up is bad, but like,
Oh yeah.
and it's exhausting. This is hard work. This is a good workout, but I'm pretty sure going down is gonna be worse.
Yeah. Especially for our joints. We're very active people. Our joints have really been through a lot.
Yeah.
So
we finally make it to the top, all hot and sweaty and red.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I was very red.
I was very sweaty. She blushes super hard.
Get very, like, if I run at all for long distances, if I do anything cardio for
her skin
a long
is very
time,
expressive.
I'm just, like, red. It's like all the pictures in that I'm like this red. Top,
you look like
beautiful.
You were sunburned, but you weren't.
Yeah, it wasn't. Top was beautiful. Great views of like the island.
Oh yeah.
You can see
in every direction
other crater,
too, which was nice.
Which I assume is Diamond Head. That other crater that was.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. No, I think isn't Diamond Head over closer to Honolulu on the north side?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Geography is his.
Here, I have the power. You keep telling the story.
But there was another crater you could see. We're on top of a crater. It's beautiful. Nice breeze up there. So I took pictures and stuff. Enjoy a little break up there, and then decided, all right, it's time to go down. I was in fact 100% correct. Going down was way worse than going up.
Really? Oh, I didn't realize that.
For me, yeah. And mostly because I don't trust my ankles. So, like, I was going down. I think it's just at the end that I felt that way because, like, we finally get to the bottom, and like I'd been doing different like steps to get down, so that because I didn't trust my ankles, so I'd like sidestep some or I'd walk straight some. It's just anyways. But we get to the bottom, and we get back into the car, and I came very evident to me very quickly that I had definitely relied more on my right side than my left side because my right foot would not stop shaking.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to drive this car because I'm the only one who can drive the car because he was not on the driver's list.
Which we totally shouldn't have done that.
And like these cars are already bad just driving normally. Like they shift super hard. They are jerky. Like it's just not great. And so then I'm in here with my foot shaking, and it's like it's like I'm so sorry. Like I am gonna cause a wreck because I cannot drive this thing normally because my right leg was very, very tired.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I thought Coco Crater was really beautiful, and it was the highest point we got to on our whole trip. So that that's something, So it was cool. The spot we were looking down on was not Diamond Head. We were looking down on Coco Head.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought we were on
K-O Head, not crater. That's the difference.
It would look like a crater.
It was a crater. It was also a crater. But it's a different kind of crater, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
So we come back down. We get back in the car. We go to lunch. Lunch was great.
We were very hungry.
Very hungry. Got burritos.
Burritos.
Yeah.
So we were like, we need something more than like a lettuce wrap at this point.
A little local, similar to Chipotle type of burrito place. It was good.
Yeah, build your own.
Yeah, build your own. They were better at folding their burritos than Chipotle was. I remember that. But anyway, And then we spent the rest of the day continuing to drive around Oahu. Saw the eastern coastline, the northeastern coastline. Honestly, some really beautiful spots. Found our favorite spots and came back to the North Shore. And then right around then was when the sun was going down, and we went home. I think.
Maybe a little walk, but we didn't get very far into it. And the skate park on the side.
Which side?
Well,
I think that was the previous day. It was the day that we surfed. We did the walk on the state park.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, cool. So,
was that the night we had the really good veggie food? I don't know. There was this diner.
Uh-huh.
Super quirky and funny. Like, it has these weird like conspiracy theories all over it.
All over the
but
it's also a bar.
Delightful vegetarian food. Like, they had some fantastic sandwiches.
My favorite part was the wings, though.
Yeah, they had vegetarian hot wings, and they're like on like a sugar stick, so it's like you're picking up a drumstick. And
bye, Karan.
Oh,
she's having connection issues. We will miss you. We'll see you when you come back to rewatch it, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, it was super good. What was the name of it?
The Other Side Diner.
Oh, she remembered. Wow. Yeah. I would not have remembered that. So
we'll go back if I go back to it.
Yeah, we're back in Honolulu. We'll hit that back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super good.
So I dinner super late. Went to bed. And then Thursday, last day with the car. So of course we drove again.
Yep. To Pearl Harbor.
We went
straight to Pearl Harbor. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we went.
Pearl Harbor. I enjoyed Pearl Harbor. It was great, but he enjoyed it way more.
I did. Can confirm. Part of what I enjoyed about it was watching Erica try to fit into the submarine because submarines are small, and Erica is taller than she looks on camera, and so
I'm not that much taller than you.
I know,
it's like half an inch.
But on camera, you look even you don't look as tall. Someone told me at the wedding.
Oh.
They were like, "Oh, I didn't realize how tall she was." So, anyway, so we're at anyway.
Yeah. So
what was I saying?
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. Thank you. Yeah. So I thought it was fun because you'd never been in. Have you ever been in a submarine or anything like that? Or
I mean, I've been on like some ships before and stuff down in Norfolk, Virginia, but not on a submarine that I remember.
Okay. Well, anyway, so a little bit of a new experience. I thought it was interesting. We took a picture of you next to the doorway. Yeah, and I took a picture of their machining. I one of the things I hadn't thought about before was how, in theory, in a submarine, if something does break or go wrong, they need to be able to fix it. And so, of course, it makes sense they would have a metal shop on the submarine. So, and of course, we found they're on display, so they're not hard to find.
You walk through the whole
you walk through everything almost. Then the little tables, they're metalworking tables, and so I took a bunch of pictures of those because I was like, I should design. If I ever have a metalworking shop, I'll design it based on these because these are compact and space effective, and yet clearly we're able to do a lot because, I mean, I'm sure they had a lot that they needed to be able to do. So I thought that was cool. The Arizona was also cool. Going out to the battleship. The main thing that sticks out in my mind, and you're gonna correct me on the numbers because I'm sure I'm wrong, but when the battleship Arizona got hit, the ship went up in the air, not obviously out of the water, but like in the air, like 20, 26, 23, 27 feet, something like that. Which is just like, battleships are gigantic. That's amazing. But anything that big could get launched that much by an explosion. But yeah, and within 7 minutes, the whole thing was sunk, and anybody inside of it was having the worst and last day.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the kids. Okay, so this is kind of related. Not.
tell me more.
We're having a Vespers tomorrow night with the youth. It's for youth, by youth, and the topic they chose was fear and anxiety. So two of them were running around the school today, asking questions of people.
Oh,
and they run into my office and they're like playing this camera and they're like, Pastor Erica, what is your biggest fear? And I was like, what? And my answer was, because this is a legitimate, like, I just think that this would be one of the worst ways to die, is drowning. And specifically, which I forgot to say
in a small metal container.
in the video, I forgot to say this in the video, but it is specifically drowning in like an enclosed space. It just
with all of your friends, which is what these guys did.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah. No, I can confirm that would be bad. Yeah.
Yeah, they were running all around.
I'm sure. Questions. It's awesome. Having fun. That sounds like fun. I would enjoy doing that. Yeah. Should have done more of that in high school.
So yeah. We did Pearl Harbor. And that took a lot of the day.
It did.
We got rained on.
It took more than I expected. I realized.
Standing in line to go out to the Arizona. But yeah, that took a while, and then when we finished up, we finished our drive around the island because we didn't hit the west side. Because roads do not actually circumnavigate the island, because there's one point that has no roads on it.
Mm-hmm. There's one point that doesn't have any roads on it, and there's another point that's a military base.
Yeah.
So
we drove around to the west side and went until the road ended. And got out and did a nice little hike along the west coast. Beautiful views, watching the sunset. But the thing that got me super excited, that I loved, and it just intrigued me.
That was the day she
so
wore her
much.
Skinkiest what? What was your favorite part?
It intrigued me so much, and it still intrigues me, and I want to know more. There is a Space Force station out there.
Yeah.
On the edge, on this tip of the island.
Yeah.
And so we like park and we get out and we see the sign, Space Force. And I was like, what? Yeah, their sign looks oddly like Star Trek. But there's all of these like observatory things up on the mountain.
Erica loves stars. Watching the stars.
I love looking at the stars and everything.
A lot of our dates revolve around looking at the stars.
I was intrigued and fascinated, and I wanted to know more, and I really wanted to go into Space Force, but you can't do that, so I just had to satisfy myself with walking next to it.
and watching the helicopters and constantly asking me what the helicopters are doing, which I did not know the answer to. I still don't. But it was really fun. Yeah. And we got a nice sunset on the west coast that day, so that was nice. Got a lot of pictures of that. None of the surfing, but a lot of that. So that was really cool. And then.
And what were you gonna say?
Oh, I don't remember. I certainly don't remember. Okay. But our favorite. Did we ever mention our favorite neighborhood? We're just gonna run over it. It's fine. We can go more.
I think so.
My favorite neighborhood was, and I'm probably mispronouncing this, but on the map it was Leia. So Leia. I don't know. I was calling it Leia, is what I was calling it. But it was this cute little neighborhood, and it's on a peninsula. There's a little road, and it goes out to the end, and the road ends, and you can park there, and you can walk out onto the rocks, and the waves really crash on those rocks because it's a peninsula.
Yeah, one of them got a hole punched through it.
Yeah, you can see one of the rocks is like an archway because there's a big hole that's been smashed through. The waves, and there's like a story about one of the native gods. Conquering Tiamat and throwing him out into the obviously not Tiamat, that's Babylon, but conquering some mythological chaos monster and destroying it and tossing its pieces of body. And the point is, it was an adorable neighborhood, and I actually found a place that is for sale for only $60,000, which is mind-boggling because almost everything there seemed like it was over $1 million.
Well, that's actually our price range. We can't find something in our
Yeah,
price range in Texas.
We can't find
But we
something
can
for that
in
price.
Hawaii?
Yeah, we can't find something for that price here in Texas, but apparently we can on a beautiful peninsula on lakeshore property. Well, not ocean cliff property because it's not shore. You wouldn't want to swim there. You'd die and stuff.
Yeah, that is facts.
But, yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, Thursday was delightful.
Thursday was delightful. I mean, to be fair, I think all of the days were delightful. Were there any undelightful days during your honeymoon?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think the closest to that was just like the feeling of knowing I had to get back in that car. It was the only undelightful aspect.
But after Thursday, guess what? The car went back. So we're done with the car.
Done with the car. And Friday was meant to be more of a restful day.
Yeah, Friday was a chill day. There was this cute little restaurant down at the bottom of the building we were in.
Oh yeah.
Like beautiful, like design and decoration.
And they had a line of people lined up to go into the restaurant all the time. Every time we walked by it, almost anytime it was open, we walked by it. Yeah. They went like out into the street and around the corner. So it was clearly very popular.
Yeah, it was like French style food.
It was French food. But there was
so good.
There was definitely Japanese influence in it too. Though. You could tell that it wasn't like the
yeah. So all your food is like so light and soft and like fluffy. Because I have these pancakes that are like this thick, but you cut into them and they just kind of like deflate and melt in your mouth. And it's not like you're eating these 3 big, thick, heavy. Because
they were thick. They were very thick pancakes.
Thick, light, fluffy, melt in your mouth pancakes.
Yeah.
And you had an
omelet that was pretty good. And their portions were better than I expected. I've eaten at French restaurants before, and their portions are not very American, but these portions are much more, which, I don't know. I'm sure that's because they have a lot of tourists. But nonetheless, like, it was very good.
Delightful breakfast.
Yeah. Do you remember what that was called?
Something cream pot.
Cream pot. Yeah. So, and that was super magical. And you know it's a classy, fancy restaurant, or at least for me, this is how I knew, was when they had signs that said no pictures.
Yeah. So no pictures of that either.
Pictures.
But it was
very good. Very, very good.
And then after breakfast,
then we had a massage.
Yeah, we cleaned up a little bit in the apartment, and then we went and got a couples massage.
I've never had a couples massage.
I mean, me neither.
Or a normal massage.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's funny in advertisements, they're like, oh, you get to lay next to you. Like, you see the 2 people laying next to each other. No, we're on like 2 completely separate tables. I'm like, okay, this is whatever. But it was good. We did the hot stones, which I'd never had before. I've only gotten a handful of massages before. Never had the hot stones, and I loved the hot stones.
They were very hot, man. For any of you men out there, I would just like to warn you that when you get married and you take showers together, she will have death pouring out of the faucet.
I didn't even think I took that hot of showers.
But also, she likes it when volcanic lava gets set on her back and then sometimes rubbed around. And like when they first pull it out of the boiling hot, scalding water that they pull the rocks out of, they're like much hotter. That's like when they're the hottest. And so they're moving them around quickly to like keep you from like literally getting burned to death. And then moving around. Well, my lady then started talking to her lady, and like every time she'd start talking to her in Korean or whatever, or Japanese or whatever language it was, they'd start talking to each other, and she would stop moving it.
Mine did not stop.
And when she would stop moving it, I was like, am I going to have a mark there? Am I going to be marked there for the rest of my life? Because it feels like you're going through me right now. It feels like this thing is burning through me. It was so hot. I cannot tell you how hot it was because I do not have words. It was very hot. It was so hot. So hot. And then the most relaxing part of them moving rocks on your back is when they finally like set them up in a special shape on your back, and now they're all sitting still. So it's like that sensation, but like all the way through my spine, every place.
It was great.
It was great. Yeah. Yeah. Massages. That's my review.
Okay. That was pretty much the exciting things of Friday. The rest of Friday was like.
Well, we did some of the packing to get ready for our flights back, because we didn't want to have to do packing on Sabbath. Mm-hmm. So that was the thing. So
we didn't want to pack on Sabbath, but we would go hiking. Very long distances.
Did we go hiking on Sabbath? I feel like we just went for a walk, a stroll down the streets of Honolulu.
No, it was great. I'm not gonna lie.
Tell us how we ended up going on the longest walk of the whole adventure.
We decided we wanted to go to church. And
we are churchgoers.
Before we had looked up, like, is there an Adventist church near us? And like looked it up quick on Google, and we're like, oh yeah, there's like half a mile or like 3/4 of a mile. We're like, okay, great, cool. We go to bed, wake up Saturday, and I'm like, okay, like let me look at these churches again.
We'll see where it is and walk to.
And then I was like, okay, the churches that are closest to us are the Korean church and the Spanish church. I think like a Japanese church or something. And I was like, I don't know if they're gonna have services in English or not, because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're just the languages.
Because I only speak one language, so
the closest English-speaking church was 4 miles away. Which, if you have a car, that's great. That's nothing. Walking
in church clothes.
In church clothes, that's another thing. But we were
and
like,
uphill. It was on top of a hill.
We're up at 6 because the sun is up at 6.
Baby, did that bother you? We could have shut the blinds.
No.
Oh, I was gonna say like we totally could have solved that if that was a problem. I thought we liked that.
No, yeah, I did. I'm just saying, like, we had plenty of time to do this walk because we're up at 6. So like we showered, got ready, got in our church clothes, and at like 9 o'clock started walking, so we could get there by 10:30, 11. I think that's when church started. So we hiked 4 miles through Honolulu.
Yeah, and then
it was fun. It was a nice walk.
Yeah,
we got to see parts of the city that we hadn't seen before.
Mm-hmm. Some of the older parts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we also got to go, like, it was up on the hill, so you're like, and we were overlooking a lot of Honolulu at that point, and saw some nice homes, some nice trees, nice flowers, a lot of good views. So it was nice. But it was a lot of walking to do in church clothes.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was 4 miles in church clothes. So, yeah. But then we got there, and church was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They were super hospitable church. Yeah. I love that in the church. And so we got invited for food, which is the main thing I think about. And then, apparently their pastor is someone I marginally know. I knew from high school or whatever. But yeah, so that was cool. That was super cool. Got to see all that. Got to make some new friends. And then they gave us a ride back.
Yeah. They were like, you walked here from Waikiki?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
We did.
So they get to ride back there. Nice.
Yeah. It was very cool.
And I think we napped and then went to dinner.
Is that what we did? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believe it. Oh, no, that's the day we went out and enjoyed the pool.
Oh,
we finally went and enjoyed the pool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because, we were like, we could, hang out at the water, but do we want to walk to the beach now that we've walked so much already?
Mm-hmm.
Not really. And by the time you walk to the beach, enjoy the water, and walk back, it would have been well past dinner time, and we still had to walk to dinner. So, then we were like,
where did we go for dinner?
We went to Olive Garden.
Oh, we went to the fanciest Olive Garden you've ever seen.
We had a gift card, so we were like, let's go.
And the sun was setting through these huge pane windows that are overlooking the West Coast.
We had a good spot in
the
Olive Garden.
It was cool. We had the corner.
We did.
Yeah. And we got to watch the sunset. in by far the fanciest Olive Garden I've ever seen. I was gonna say restaurant, but that's not true. That would be the cream pot, which is like nestled into a garden, an entirely different type of good view. So, but it was really cool. That was really cool, and then we walked back, saw Johnny and whatever his buddy's name was. So that was good. It's a nice walk. That walk. We forgot to mention the pizza that we had on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, that was dope. That was good.
We walked into.
And she was so nice. She gave us a free brownie.
Hello from Rosario City, Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, cool. Welcome. Awesome. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, we had pizza, and it was in the, I don't want to say more shady part of town, but it was, is there a more kind word for that?
Town.
Yeah, the less fortunate part of town. And so, but the pizza, turns out, significantly better. Pizza was super, super good. So, yeah, would recommend. Do you remember the name of that pizza place? I don't think I do either.
I don't think so. No.
I don't remember the name of anything. You're welcome. He said thank you. Yeah, we're glad you're here. So, then, what were you saying?
I was just letting know we've been catching people up on our honeymoon.
Oh, yeah. We're catching people up on what we did for
our honeymoon. Hawaii.
It was super fun. Yeah. And kind of recording it because, like, I don't know about you, but I'm a forgetful person that's going to forget the details of how any of this worked. And no one's going to be able to hold me accountable unless I make a video about it. So,
there we go. Yeah.
Fair enough. And then Sunday was traveling. We got back on airplanes. We had another. Did we have another one where we had to run?
No. We flew straight. We flew from
layover.
From Honolulu to San Diego.
Yeah, and then we had an overnight in San Diego.
Which, let me tell you, don't ever do an overnight in San Diego Airport because San Diego Airport. Maybe more airports do this, but I've internationally traveled a lot, and so I've had a lot of overnight layovers.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
And you just sleep at the gate that you're gonna have to go to the next morning.
No big deal.
No, San Diego closes, and you have to get kicked out. So we didn't get to sleep at our gate. We had to go find a hotel for like 4 hours.
Shame, San Diego. Who do you think you are? I ain't flying through San Diego again.
At least not overnight.
At least not as long as I remember, which is probably Tuesday.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a real bummer. But it ended up costing us a bunch of extra money for not a bunch of extra pleasure. So, yeah. So.
And this little hotel we decided to stay in, also sketch because the window was open when we got there. And there's no screen. It's the window to the bathroom. It's open. There's no screen. I'm like,
yeah, it
wouldn't match.
It was a super sketchy motel. Would not recommend.
4 hours, so
1 star. Yeah. But you know, San Diego has its perks. We just didn't encounter any of them.
I was like, and which of those did we see?
Yeah. No, and we were also gone before the day started, the sun came up, any of that stuff. So, although the airport did have a Cold Stone in it, didn't it? No. Cold Stone ice cream.
We wanted it to. That was the Honolulu airport.
Oh, wasn't it? Oh.
It said it had a Cold Stone. I went because I was like, I want Cold Stone so bad right now. Like that sounds so good. They are permanently closed.
Oh, yeah.
And then we couldn't find another one. And we still haven't gotten Cold Stone.
It's true. Someday we'll get back to Cold Stone ice cream.
I'm glad that you remembered it like you had gotten it. Like, I hope that memory
that's that's why I enjoy having a bad memory. Because it fixes everything. Just like, give it a little time to ruminate. Memory solved. No problems. Doesn't ever cause me any problems at all. No, doesn't cause any problems.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now we're back in Texas.
Yeah, and then we got back to Texas. Yeah. So And it's been good. Texas has been good to us. I like Texas. You like Texas. You have work here in Texas. I have work here in Texas.
And right now, the weather is very, very nice.
Oh, the weather! No one warned us.
60s, 70s.
No one warned us that fall and spring in Texas would be awesome. I've never lived somewhere where springs and falls are. That's not true.
I was like,
but they are awesome.
Can confirm that they're equally great elsewhere. But it's nice.
It's very nice, and we get to eat outside all the time now that we have the stuff. Man, oh man. Well, we're super thankful for you guys. We're thankful for you guys listen to us yammer, and thankful for you guys watching it all. So, yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some tips for if you go to Hawaii.
Yeah, if you're in Honolulu.
Look at that.
So yeah, Waikiki Monarch did not disappoint us. The other restaurant in that hotel was also really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a little like.
It had good vegetarian sushi.
It was so good.
Yep.
Yeah. They had onion rings too. Honestly, he has almost everything on his menu. It's awesome.
It's true. Any category of food you wanted, probably there.
Yep, and he just makes it right there. Love it. So, thank you to my patrons, Mom and Raagnaerok. I appreciate both of you. All the viewers, both here on the live streams, but also on the YouTube videos. So, hit that bell, stay well, and I'll see you when I see you.